Video 23. Final considerations. To those who have the idea of generating their own electricity from the sun, there are few things in the world more exciting than turning a PV system on for the first time and watching the meter show that electricity generated by the sun is flowing into your home or business. It's even greater a thrill to see the utility meter running backward as surplus flows onto the electrical grid. Steps to implement a PV energy project. Determine your home or business electrical consumption and consider making efficiency measurement improvements to reduce the PV system size and cost. Point 2. Assess the solar resource. Assess the solar resource in your area. Size and design the system. Number 4. Check on building permit requirements. File a permit application. Point number 5. Check homeowner associations, regulations. File necessary paperwork for permissions to install the system if required. Apply for special incentives that may be available from the utility or your state or local government. Check on insurance coverage. Number 8. Contact the local utility and obtain a utility interconnection agreement for a grid connected system. Obtain the permit. Number 10. Order the modules, the rack and the balance of the system. Number 11. Install the system. 12. Commission, require installer to verify the performance of the system. Number 13. Sign the interconnection agreement. Permitting a PV system. After you or your installer have designed your PV system, you will need to contact your local building department to determine if they require a permit to install a PV system. In most cases, a permit will be required. The local building department will provide a permit application. Building codes. Building codes are a detailed set of regulations that apply to how buildings are constructed, modified and repaired. Building codes set the rules by which the various trades must operate. They stipulate equipment and materials that can be used and how they must be installed. For example, they stipulate the maximum voltage at which PV systems can be wired and the use of safety measures such as disconnects. Securing a permit. To start the process of ensuring that your PV installation will comply with the local building code, you or your installer must submit an application for a permit. Permits for PV system comprise of electrical wiring and all the electronic components of a system you'll be installing, such as inverters, charge controllers, safety disconnects. To determine if a permit is required even for off-grid systems, given your local building department a call. If a permit is required, they'll outline the procedure, indicate the cost, and provide the appropriate forms. They will also indicate all the supporting material you'll need to provide as part of your application. Applications generally require a site map drawn to scale that indicates property lines, streets, and the proposed location of the array. This simple drawing should also indicate the location of other components of the system, for example, the inverter, disconnects, and electric meter in grid connected systems. A professional installer will prepare a site map for you. It's a part of his or her service. Building permit. Building permit applications for PV systems usually require a simple one-line drawing of the electrical system, or less commonly a more complex 3-line electrical diagram. You will also need to submit specifications, size and ratings of all the system components either on the system diagram or on a separate specification sheet. This includes wire size, overcurrent protection devices, system disconnects, and grounding equipment. You will also need to include specifications for PV modules and inverters in grid connected systems and charge controllers, and batteries in battery-based systems. The building department will use this information to determine if the conductors, overcurrent protection devices and disconnects are sized properly. If you are mounting an array on a roof, you may need to include information on the age of the roof type of shingles, the pitch and the size and spacing of the rafters. You will need to provide information on the array including the size and the method of securing it to the roof. You will need to provide details on waterproofing the attachments as well. You may need to hire a professional engineer to review and stamp your plans. An engineer's stamp ensures that the roof can support the array and that it will remain intact under wind conditions in your area. Submitting applications for pole mounted arrays. If you are mounting an array on a pole mount, you will very likely need to provide description and drawings of the foundation and pole mount to ensure its structural stability. After your application is submitted, a plan examiner in the building department will review the application, accompanying the materials usually within a few days or weeks. If everything is in order, you will receive a permit, which is the official approval for you to begin construction. Inspection schedule. Permit must be posted on the site, usually in a window. Permits include an inspection schedule that indicates which part of the project are subject to inspection, what is covered in each inspection, and the sequence in which inspections must be carried out. Expect an electrical engineer inspector to visit your site at least once to check wiring. Warning labels are required on disconnects and other components of PV systems. The inspector will check out wire sizes, connections, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Permitting a PV system may take several months, so submit your application well in advance of the date you'd like to install the system, and don't buy a PV system unless your permit has been granted. So here ends video 22, the final considerations.